It starts with this, a person that you miss. My mind draws a blank. I wanna go back to the early days when life was an escape. Now I just wait for better days. I lost myself in your reality. Lost myself. I lost myself in your reality. Lost myself. I feel that life, according to a friend, we're all shrink-wrapped in families and making ends meet, stuck in jobs we'll never leave. I never wanna be like that, so I
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Hold on. That's incoming messages. Oh crap. Forgot to hit the button. Did I forget? I forgot to hit the button, guys. Wait, which one? Which one am I supposed to be on? Oh, this button. Okay, what's up? Oh my god. I'm all sweaty, bros, and I got dirt and dander all over me. I was out in the neighbor's yard getting weird, you know what I mean? It's Saturday, guys. You got to go out in your neighbor's yard and get super weird. I guess it's my charitable efforts of the week, aka helping the elderly mow their lawns free of charge. I was supposed to finish that during the week, you guys, and that didn't happen. So I had to finish up on a Saturday, which is all right because it is lovely out. It is currently reportedly 21 degrees Celsius outside. I don't know. What is that in Fahrenheitels? The Celsiums and the Fahrenheitels. Let's turn to Fahrenheitels. Nope, it's not converting. You guys. Oh. No, this isn't accurate. Never mind, it's warmer than that. It's my thermometer outside said that it was 74 degrees, 75 degrees outside. This one in here is goofing. Oh my god, the dog's going crazy. I wonder why the dog's going crazy. Hold on. Saturday stream. You know how it is. Welcome to the Saturday stream. Throw a bunch of comments in the chat and I will read them and respond. All right. I try not to yell at the dogs when they're just barking, but that was a danger bark, so I was wondering what was going on there, dudes. I was like, what was that? It sounded like a raccoon or something had entered the backyard. But it wasn't, so let's not worry about it. Okay, hopefully everyone is having a lovely weekend. If you're international on that side over there, it is Sunday here in the glorious Pacific Northwest of North America. It is Saturday, okay? It's Saturday at 1 o'clock, and I don't normally live stream on Saturdays at 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? We don't normally do that. We don't normally stream. We normally stream on Mondays. So if this seems aberrant to you, that's because it is. I will be out of town. We'll be traveling on the Monday stream. So I won't be able to do a Monday stream. So we're doing a special edition Saturday stream so that we engage with the community to the amount that I'm supposed to, or whatever. I don't know. Am I supposed to? I mean, I could just ultimately take a week off, but I feel like, hey, let's have some Saturday fun because the girls aren't here. Most of my stuff is packed. I have a little bit of packing to do. I got my charitable event done for the week. I got my work done for the week. Aquarium co-op projects accomplished. Work is done. I did not make a YouTube video for while I'm gone, probably because I'm going to upload some remote stuff, some shorts or whatever from cell phone content. So we got done with that. So it was like, you know what? Let's do the live stream. The girls are gone today. They're doing little girl stuff with other little girls. And they're like, Dad, don't come. You'll be bored. None of the dads are going to be there. It's going to be a bunch of moms and little girls, which to me, that sounds like fun. But they were like, it's a no boys club kind of thing. So I was like, well, I'll hang out and do dad stuff like mowing and changing light bulbs and fixing batteries and stuff. That's what I've been up to today. So that's what's going on in my neck of the woods. We've accomplished the week. Has the co-op announced a grand opening date? I don't have a grand opening date to be announced, so I don't know. I can't say. I know that Corey said on his live stream that we'll probably be doing soft opening type stuff, right? So imagine this. Imagine your aquarium at your house, right? Your aquarium at your house. You get a brand new one. You set it up. You got to cycle that aquarium. You got to go through the nitrogen cycle, right? You got to do what you got to do. You got to get a lot of beneficial bacteria in there. You got to add fish into the systems. You got to get the filters matured. You got to double check all the systems, make sure that everything operates properly, and all of the things that on your normal aquarium. Well, we're going to be adding, 200s. I don't know how many aquariums. It's a lot. Whatever the number is, it's a lot. I don't know what it is because I haven't counted them as a total amount. So I don't know what they are, but we have to get all of them running, all of them healthy. We're not going to be selling sick fish to people, right? Like, we have a standard that we follow that people are expecting from us, and we're not going to just cast that aside for whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, but as far as I know, people like Caitlin DeRosier is a local yokel to the Pacific Northwest region. You guys will be, the local people will be able to be getting in at some point, previous to a grand opening, but I know that there is going to be a big grand opening event. I don't know what it is going to entail, but I was told, yeah, we're going to do a big grand opening thing. That's basically what I was told. And I'm like, cool. This week we were pouring a bunch of self-leveling because the concrete floors, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, if this is something that you've experienced, but if you talk about an all-concrete building that was built in the 40s, in the 1940s, and now it is currently 2020s, right? So we kind of do some quick and dirty maths there and go like, we're coming up on like 80-something years, right? Over that time period, that concrete has a tendency to settle, has had people drill into it, different flooring surfaces have been on it. You get what I'm saying. It's not laser straight. So this week, a lot of what we were doing was completely leveling the floor with concrete. What we were using, Sika self-leveler. I'm pretty common. I'm used to this product myself, and I've used it quite a few times. I had actually some help this week. I had one of our fellow co-op workers. One of our fellow co-op worker bees was helping out on Friday. So things just moved along pretty well this week. No complaints. No one could complain. No one has a complaint. We were doing a lot of that. Plus, I was doing a bunch of wiring and dehumidifier stuff this week. Wiring in commercial and mounting and building all the shelves and stuff for the dehumidifying system, which that one's all in, but we need another one. So testing against the square footage, start to realize, like, we're either going to burn out this dehumidifier or we're going to need two. And the easier thing to do is have two. Caitlin says, got over 90 last week. We skipped spring straight to summer. Finally getting back to spring weather. Super happy because I love the sun and heat, but need time to acclimate. Yeah. Accumulate? I think excuse me. I expect more from professional educators, okay? Accumulate. I know you're trying to say acclimate, and I bet you got spell check You probably got spell check attacked. Probably because you have an iPhone. That would be my guess. My guess you got iPhone spell check, right? But yeah, we got super hot here out of nowhere. We never got a chance to go like, hey, spring is a springin', look at it go. It was like, it's raining, and then it's like, it's 95 or whatever. So, kind of wild weather around here. Rumbust is asking, is Canada burning? In a response to Randall Bowman saying, we have lots of smoke from Canada here in Denver. Yeah, we've had lots of smoke headed south all the way from Alberta in Canada. You guys have ever heard of Canada, the land of maple syrups, and mooses, right? What else is Canada famous for? Maple syrup. Canada famous for tar sands. Extracting oil out of the tar sands, right? What is Canada famous for? Scenery. Let's face it, Canada is beautiful. Yeah, ice hockey, maple syrup, extreme politeness, extreme politeness, and moose. That was the top five. Top five. What is Canada famous for? Yep. That's what they got going on up there. That's it. That's the only thing that they have is it. That's it. That's all they got going on. And fire now, once again. If you guys don't know, Canada is pretty sparsely populated, very large, geographically. Geographically? Good times. Not a lot of people, a lot of land, and a lot of trees. And there's a real question on what's going on with the forest management up there, because it catches on fire a lot. And this year they had unseasonable hot weather, and apparently not a lot of rain in whatever period from like April, late March to May, and then they had this it got super hot, and then the fire, yeah, and then there was a fire, and now the fire is raging. Last I checked, there was 153 fires up there. I guess we could check now. What's up with the Canada? What's up with the Canada wildfires? Wildfires continue to burn across Canada. How many? How many we got? I don't want to click on NBC News because it's probably going to autoplay something. We'll leave it muted. There we go. High temperature records fell by the dozen this week as Western Canada continued to suffer from a prolonged scorching heat wave. About 90 wildfires, spurred on by unusually high temperatures, continue to burn in Alberta. Smoke blanketed the province in unhealthy air and dipped across the border into the United States, according to satellite photos. Oh my God, the dog's freaking out. Hey, what are you doing? I got a dog scared the crap out of me. A heat wave pattern described as an omega block by meteorologists resembles in some ways the record-breaking heat event in Canada and the U.S. Pacific Northwest in June 2021, which killed hundreds of people. The intense spring wildfires in Alberta are reminiscent of the 2016 Fort McMurray wildfire, which is considered one of Canada's costliest natural disasters. This is a very unusual pattern. We often don't see these types of patterns set up in this early in the year. We see these patterns in the summer, said Terry Lang. Yeah, so you guys get it. You know what's going on. Big fires, bros. Hot temperatures, big fires, blowing it up. Light in British Columbia, which had Canada's all-time recorded high of 121 degrees Fahrenheit during the June 2021 heat wave, then burned to the ground a day later, was one of several communities to set new daily records this week. Temperatures last weekend spiked to record-setting levels in the U.S. Pacific Northwest at the edge of a high-pressure pattern where Seattle recorded highs in the upper 80s and set new temperature highs 4 days in a row, according to National Weather Service. The Bayside town of Hoquiam, Washington reached 91 degrees, a stunning mark for an area that usually has moderate temperatures because of its proximity to the Pacific Ocean. Right? Yeah, you guys get it. This is how people read the news. I give myself a quick shave, a little bronzing, and a hot tie. Give myself a sexy man hot tie, and then I'd be like, I'm a very important person talking to you about some news things that happened, which will almost always incite you into being freaked out and a higher level of anxiety. You're gonna lose your mind. Don't worry. I'll freak you out every night at 6:30 sharp. Show us some love and support by giving a thumbs up, Fish Fam. Yeah, I guess we gotta hit the thumbs buttons. Just get on your thing and just start mangling buttons. Become a member. Is it time for the commercial? We got to do the commercial. Hey guys, I want to make more YouTube content. In order to do that, there's no other better way to put it, but we just need cash to do it. That's how it goes. We have 60 members, which are contributing financially. We have 92 patrons who are contributing financially, and we appreciate them immensely. I don't know how I'm supposed to travel and film YouTube content with $0. So that's why. That's why the issue. That's why. People ask why. That's why. I don't necessarily want to get rich. I just want to be able to fund doing the projects related to fish tanks and stuff. I want to be able to, for instance, fly back to Peru and film the other half of the videos for the Peru videos, but we can't really afford to do that. So, yeah, that's the reasoning. That's why we would want people to support the channel. I am currently working on a new fish room, so we'll be doing more of my own setups here in the near future. What's the timeline on that? It's getting shorter. My backup is headed back to the Pacific Northwest very soon. My mother and her husband, who I love them dearly for them just existing and being existing people. They're just existing people, right? I 1000% love them just for that. I also, on top of that, the cherry on top would be my daughter loves them a lot, and they definitely like having Olivia being a part of their lives. So they help out immensely with that stuff. They've been gone for almost 6 months now. They will be back in about a week. Everyone in this house is looking forward to it, myself included, the dogs included. I think the chickens are even excited for it. A little bit of backup, a little bit of retired grandparents that don't have an insane work schedule to be around, help out with Olivia, help out around the house. My mom's husband is a contractor. If I ever have a question, he's like an amazing resource. He's helped with so many things that we've done, including remodeling our house before this house. So we're looking forward to their return. They're coming back, which means I will be able to put my head down more on finishing my fish room. So that'll be good. That'll be good. You guys are looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Jerry X. What? Caught a live stream. I'm a usual replay team 6. Apologies for not posting in the notes. I'm always driving when I listen, but I always listen. I hope you and your beautiful family are doing good. We are doing good. We got another sickness. Olivia got sick, but she's on the mend. She has a little... she has like that cough after you've been sick, like you were sick like a week ago, and you have that like weird nagging cough. She has that thing, but the doctor gave us a little medicine for that. She's doing good. We're all doing great. My neighbor's doing good. Her lawn's all mowed. She's a 83-year-old retired seamstress, and mowing the yard is not possible for her. So she's doing good. We got her lawn mowed. What else? Yeah, everyone's doing good. My other neighbors are doing good. Hey, everyone's doing good. I saw my cousin posted their kid the other day. They look like they're doing great. I hope to see them soon. I think we have a camping trip in a month or two, which would be great to hang out with everybody. So everything's going good. Everything's going good. Money is always a stressor. All that stuff is always stressful, but what are you going to do? You know? Can't worry about that stuff all the time. Skog Shrimp and stuff. Jerry X, it should be with the button for sending a super chat, bottom right of the chat. Oh, yeah. Wait, sorry. I'm sure this is a stupid question, but how do I gift memberships? I think it's the same as the super chat. Don't quote me on that. I don't know what it's like on an iPhone. On an Android, you just hit the super chat button, and then you can either super chat or gift memberships, I think. I think that's how you do it. I don't do it very often, so I'm not that great at explaining it. It doesn't work on my iPad. Oh, that's weird. I wonder why. I wonder. Hold on, let me see something here. I wonder if this works. Janice, you don't have to gift memberships or anything, but let's see if you can click on that. Don't necessarily gift memberships, but see if that button works. Oh my God, Aubrey did it. Aubrey's gifting 5 memberships on a Saturday. It's buck wild. Oh, Shelby Ray's back. Shelby Ray's back in the fold. If you guys don't know, Shelby Ray Lane is, I think, the only person verified to have watched every single video I've ever uploaded onto YouTube. Well, not all of them ever, but all of them that she had access to. that they had access to. That were available to be seen. That's the only person that's verified. How to gift memberships on YouTube. I just want to know. On iPhone. How does this work? I don't know. I don't have iPhone because I hate them. I don't like iPhones at all. I every time I've used one, I don't like the experience. I understand. Everyone has different opinions. This is just my opinion. iPhones are fine. I just don't personally like them. Okay, here it is. Buy a gift membership. Sign into YouTube on the iOS app. Go to eligible channel you want to buy gift memberships on. Join the channel's live stream or premiere. Within the live chat, tap membership gifting. Select the number of viewers you want to gift memberships. Complete the transaction. I don't know. That doesn't seem helpful. You know what? You Googling this was not a good idea. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. Then it doesn't seem like Oh, hold on. Oh, we're in YouTube help now. Oh, here we go. Where's the Huh. Very weird. I don't know. It's more expensive to get a personal membership via Apple apps. Saves you like $1 a month to do it through a web browser. Oh, that's what they want you to do. Oh, my guess is that they want you to open YouTube through your desktop on your iPhone. I think that's how you do it. That sounds like what Caitlin is describing. iPhone, iPad. I don't know. I'm looking. It's not very helpful. I don't know. It seems like something that people would search fairly often. I don't know. Yeah, I think you need to open up YouTube like on your desktop I think you have to open it within the desktop and not in the YouTube app. I think that's how you have to do it. But I mean, this is the reason why I don't use iPhones. It just like simple things are super confusing, and I'm like, you know, what's the deal here? Whereas, where was that meme? I posted a meme the other day. Let me find it. It's a good explanation. Here we go. It's not a very nice meme. But it's like, Android users, I can download any app I want for free. And I also have a headphone jack. iPhone users, the text is blue. Yeah. Yeah, which it seems to be that's how I never, like I said, I never really liked any of my interactions with the iPhones. I didn't like it. I was like, nah, dude, I'm just going back to Android. You know what I mean? I look, all these stuff works. Oh my God, Jerry figured it out. Oh no, he's just super chatting, but he didn't put any text in. That works. We got a 10-pound super chat. Oh my God, how much are pounds now? Pounds versus the dollar. LBS versus the U.S. dollar. Oh, 1 pound sterling is up to $1.24. That's a $12 super chat. That's a $12 super chat. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it. I'm glad that I can entertain you to some degree. It sounds like more often than not when I've talked to you, I think you interact with my channel a lot like how I interact with a lot of other channels, which is, oh man, look at this, a 4-hour live stream. I'm gonna listen to that on 2x speed and see what. While I'm working, or like while you're driving, right? Or while you're like doing other stuff. That's how I interact with a lot of content, is just I'm listening to it. I'm probably not even watching the video. So a lot of times, like if things are strictly a visual engagement, I guess I'm probably going to miss out on it because I'll just skip to something else. Because I'm like, I don't want to hear this weird background music. Like, what is this weird music? You know, I would much rather have an audio book. I would like an audio book with the interaction of like a person reading it. Does that make sense? I don't know. Oh my God, we got to update our member numbers because Aubrey gifted 5 memberships. That's crazy generous, bro. 65 members now. All right, we're going over the top. We're going over the top. We're going for 1,000 memberships. People always ask me, they're like, "Why are you going for these insane goals?" And I'm like, "Why not? Who cares?" I'm like, we're not, even if we set a low goal, we're not going to hit that either. So we might as well set the insanely high goal and then go, of course, we didn't get 1,000 members today. That would be buck wild. That's not even possible. Yeah. But we're up to 65 now, which is more than 60. I don't know. I mean, I know Caitlin's here. She can verify whether or not that's factually correct. I literally can't even find the live chat on the web version of YouTube on an iPhone. Well, how did Jerry figure it out? Jerry figured out something. I don't know. I'm just saying the iPhone's confusing as hell. Make it better. If you're iPhone people, who's the iPhone builders? Are they builders? I don't know. Developers? Whatever. It would be cool if they could figure it out. It's 2023, guys. If you're the iPhone people, you should figure it out. Joel, you're my decompression on the journey home from a stressful day at work, and for this, I thank you. Oh man, I appreciate it, dude. I'm so, I'm humbled that I could be that for anybody. Really, honestly, like it's pretty amazing, to be honest with you. Let's see. I don't see anything like that on my phone. Thanks for the membership. I've contributed. I've contributed 10 pounds to the iPhone Suck Fund. All right, we like it. We appreciate it. Let's see. To be perfectly honest, I suck at spelling and usually spell check is my best friend. My students know this, so when they ask me to spell something, they aren't surprised if I say, I think, after. One of my Achilles heels that I is spelling out loud. I hate spelling out loud. I don't to the degree that like I don't even know if I'm good at it, right? Like I hate it so much that I might actually be good at it, but that is the handicap that makes me not good at it. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's just not. I hate spelling out loud. I swear, Vicky will ask me like how to spell something. Like, how do you spell dysentery? And I'm like, get away from me. I'm like, give me a pen and a paper. I'll write it down for you. I'll write it down for you, and it will probably be correct. It will probably be correct, but I don't know. I don't know. I hate spelling out loud. I don't like it. It's Saturday and sunny and not a million degrees. Yes, that is. It's actually nice. It's really nice out, like I said. You always have the coolest music playing. I download music from Artlist, which we have a paid license to be able to play music. I curate the music. I curate it. It's not that big of a deal. I download a bunch of songs. I pick songs that I really like, download them, then I edit them into a track because the levels will be all insane if I don't do that. And we use that for the intro music. So I appreciate all of the artists that put in their time, and I hope that they're being compensated because I'm paying for the license. So hopefully that is just a wonderful symbiotic relationship that is working well for them, and hopefully we can keep moving forward with that. Hopefully AI doesn't take over music creation for everybody, right? Hopefully that doesn't happen. Although it seems to be on the it's coming basically. It's coming is what I would say. It's yeah. A lot of this stuff is going to be computer generated in the next 3 to 4 years. So bear in mind. I mean, hopefully somebody's going to come out with a decent program to figure out what's computer generated and what's not. Because that, to me, is going to be the important key moving forward, is like, can you analyze something just as a person and you're trying to watch, I don't know, the news or something, and you're like, I don't know if this is real or not. This could be computer generated. I don't know. That I would say, like, if there was a company that was really doing that, right? That's probably going to be real big business here in the future. Well, let's see. Not only can I not spell in general, spelling out loud is even more difficult. Best guess spelling is my favorite phrase. I tell them I don't care if it's right as long as I can figure it out. That's a good way to be about it. I mean, you don't gotta be a crazy stickler on elementary school kids, right? Like, oh, you've got this wrong. You're not gonna be a good human, right? I think most people will figure it out. I'll be right back. I heard the ice. My ice is ready, and my water has no ice. I'm gonna go put ice in it. I'll be right back. Oh yeah, I'm back. And I have ice, which is a big deal. Oh, Vitra's here. What's up, Vitra? How you doing? How you feeling? Feeling good? Skog Shrimp and Stuff with a 6-month member post also. Janice with a 20-month member post saying, I love Apple products, but they do have their flaws. Yeah, I get it. And by the way, all products have some flaws. There is not a flawless product in the world. So it's not a criticism of people like, if you like iPhones, it's great. Do what you like. I mean, so like from a moral standpoint and like the entirety of my belief system of sort of how I exist on the planet is do what you like as long as it's not harming other people, right? You having an iPhone is not harmful to anyone except for the people that work at the Foxconn factory in China. And I don't know how responsible the individual consumer is for that. And I don't think much, honestly, because there aren't a lot of options for the consumer. Which is why people were like, oh, I don't know why you always say the government's great. And I say, I don't think that the government's great. I think that we need a strong government in order to enforce things like working conditions on products that are sold in our country, right? The United States, at least. Or like Jerry in the EU, right? Oh, no, he's Brexit. So the UK, not the EU, the UK. They're not the EU anymore. They've Brexited. They've exited, and they've doing their own thing now, which still need a strong government in order to regulate the products that are coming in and out of the country. Because I don't have time to do that. Oh, the ice water's hitting the spot after the hot mowing. The hot mowing out there. I started a chat this evening to complain about a takeaway that never arrived, and I started to feel I was chatting with a bot. I asked if it was a human, and they said yes, but how could I be sure? I asked what was their favorite TV show as a child. They said never had one. Sounds like a bot. That does sound like a bot. That sounds exactly like a bot, right? But let's think of some examples that a bot would say. In the UK, favorite show as a child, a bot would say Black Adder, right? A bot would say Black Adder. Not possible. Somebody working customer service in 2023 would have that answer, right? So, what's another show? Because I would say my favorite British show when I was a kid, and I'm forgetting the name of it right now. The Young Ones, is that right? The Young Ones. Is that right? Did I get it right? Yeah, The Young Ones. This was my favorite show when I was a kid. Because there's the punk rock guy, they are poor, and the jokes in it are great. The actors that are in it are great. The writing was great. I liked it when I was a kid. So that would have been a viable answer because that would have been my answer, right? And I am a human as far as I know. Although, I could be a simulation. Oh, my God. Saturday thoughts, guys. You know what? We don't have these thoughts during the week. We have these thoughts on a Saturday because it's nice and sunny out. So you had a takeaway that never showed up? Was it like a Uber Eats or something? It sounds like your Uber Eats or whatever didn't show up, which talk about like a bizarre issue that we would have never thought would have been an actual problem 20, 30 years ago or whatever. Like, it was known that a pizza may or may not show up, right? Like, a pizza might not show up. We knew that. But also, there were a lot of promises when I was a kid that the pizza would be there within 30 minutes or it's going to be free. Or 60 minutes? Was it 30 minutes or 60 minutes? Let's figure that out. Pizza arrives before 30 minutes? or it's free, or 60 minutes. Was it 60 minutes or 30 minutes? Do 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 do. Oh. Domino's Pizza ad campaign. Starting in 1979, Domino's created a policy where if customers didn't get their pizza order 30 minutes after they ordered it, the pizza was free. It was 30 minutes, which is freaking insane, right? If you think about it. If you think about it, you call somebody on the phone who's in another building, and you're like, I want a pepperoni pizza. I want a veggie pizza. I want a garlic pizza, whatever. And you're like, you better be here at my house after it's cooked. And you put it in a box, and you put it in your car and drive it over here. You better be here within 30 minutes, or you have to give it to me for free. Right? That's insane. And that started in 1979. So that's 100% a boomer invention. That has nothing to do with any other generation. That's straight up boomers, like, booming all over the place. Booming out, you know. But that's insane. Someday I'm going to drive out there and own that picture of those eyes. It'll happen. Oh, this painting back here? This one? You wanna own that one? You wanna own that one? Should we open the phone lines today? Oh, hold on. We could do a poll. Edge case. Phone. Whoops. We'll poll it. Guys, we're interacting. We're interacting with polls. Phone lines open today or no? Okay, we'll find out. We'll find out what you guys think while you anonymously vote. Because we here, we're a democratically run YouTube channel. Realistically, if enough people told me to make a video, I would make it. So, yeah. Randall Bowman says the province of Alberta, Canada, home to more than 4 million people, is under a state of emergency as nearly 100 wildfires burn, dozens of them out of control. Yeah, it's a buck wild, man. We had all the smoke down here, and I didn't even know what was going on until I woke up one day and was like, why is it all hazy out? This is ridiculous. And, I was expecting a wildfire here. It turns out it's all the way up in Alberta, which is a long ways away. And, yes, I appreciate it's home to 4 million people. I'm from a country of, 340 million people? So it's just a matter of perspective that Canada doesn't have a big population. What Canada population on list? Let's see if we can come up with the most populous countries. Let's see. Where's the list? Canada's population rank in the world. 39th on the Worldometer. The Worldometer. Check it out, bros. We're on the Worldometer. www.worldometers.info. Not .com, huh? .info. Weird. Where's the list, though? Because what? U.S. is like, what, third? I think the U.S. is like third population-wise. World. Here we go. Boom. Countries in the world by population. Boom. We found it. Load. Enhance. Yeah, United States is third. Indonesia is fourth. China and India are, of course, number one. And they have been for a very long time. Indonesia, Pakistan, Brazil, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Russia, Mexico, Japan, Ethiopia, Philippines. Philippines at 13th. Wow. I didn't realize there's like 110 million people in the Philippines. That's buck wild. The DR Congo, I knew that. Egypt, Vietnam. Vietnam's higher than I thought, admittedly. I thought Vietnam was like 40 million, 50 million. It's 97. 97, bros. 97 millions. And here's Canada, way down the list, 39th. Behind Poland and Afghanistan and Iraq and Ukraine and Sudan and Algeria and Argentina and Uganda and Spain. España! I want to go to Spain really bad, you guys. Have you heard the story of how I want to go to Spain? I'm gonna make it happen. Because that big giant I'm gonna make it happen because of this reason. The big giant aquarium is in Portugal. Portugal's right next to Spain, you know. You just bippity-boppity Spain right over the border, right? And, so I want to try and do that someday. I don't know when. Someday. I don't know. It's not on the list. It's on the list. I don't know where it's positioned on the list. Deliveroo. Taco Bell never arrived. Hungry kids. Evening ruined. Oh, my God. That's brutal. I wasn't imagining the kid. In my mind, I wasn't imagining the kid portion of that equation there. Okay. We only got 10 votes, and we have 48,000 people watching right now, and only 21 likes. That seems like people are not hitting the like button, or the dislike button, or the membership button. Hit all the buttons. Mash them. Just smush them really hard. Mash them up. Mash up those buttons. But we did get 10 votes, and we look like 90% say phone lines open. So I'll click over here, because we do still have some time on the clock. I will go over to the voice channels, go over to the green room, and I will engage the green room. So if you are a member or a patron, you have access to our Discord, where we talk about all sorts of stuff. The weather has gotten really nice, so it's been kind of quiet the last week or so on the Discord, although there still is activity on there. But the weather's gotten super nice in the United States, so the Discord has calmed down a little bit. But we generally are talking about all sorts of stuff. We got memes. We got all sorts of things on the Discord. It's a good time. And I added an event page to the Discord this last week because I realized we needed a place to put events. And the only one that we have posted so far is Vivarium, the 11th and 12th of November, which is right next to my daughter's birthday. So I'm not going to be able to make that this year. Hopefully they go back into October or maybe later. Well, no, late November's not good, but hopefully they go back into October like they were before, and then I could try and make it sometime. But November 11th and 12th is not good. That's right next to Olivia's birthday, which means I'm not going to miss my daughter's birthday. There's only going to be like X amount of birthdays. There's only going to be X amount of birthdays. I don't want to miss them. Well, phone line's open, but nobody's called in. Okay, phone line's open just in case anybody calls in. Okay. Whew. That's ice cold water. Okay, we're going to close the poll here. We got 11 votes. 91% say accept phone calls. Okay, we're going to end that poll because it's overwhelming. The response was overwhelming, guys. The La Sagrada Familia Basilica would be awesome to see in person. I agree. I want to go see that. And Portugal's not that big of a country, and it is right next to Spain. So I figure there's a way to work out doing both. You know, I mean, if you're there for like 2 weeks, 12 days, whatever, you know, you could do like 3-4 days in Portugal, couple days in España, drive around, check some stuff out, go back to Portugal. You know, you could do it. You could figure it out. What is that? Sounds like there's a street sweeper going down my street right now. But they wouldn't be doing that on a Saturday, would they?
Maybe.
Oh my God, Steven's here. Oh, Caitlin's here. Oh my God, people have joined. Hold on, I'm gonna look out the window. What's going on, guys? I don't know what that noise is. I'm gonna go check it out. All right, guys, mystery is solved, okay? Mystery solved. Mystery solved. My neighbor down the road is running like a Husqvarna with no exhaust on it. That is the loudest chainsaw I've heard in a long time. I think he's like got straight pipes coming out of that thing or something. And it all the way down the road here, it sounds like there's a street sweeper outside. So, yeah. Mystery solved. We're not going to die, but the streets shall remain dirty. Steven, what's going on? Caitlin, what's happening? What do you got? We have callers. Attention. We have callers.
How are you?
I'm good. Oh my God, your volume is like immaculate.
Oh, that's good.
Your quality is solid. I'm going to turn you down just a little bit so we don't go totally deaf. Don't modify yourself. I'll handle it over here. I got the dials. What's going on, Caitlin? How you doing?
Modified it anyway, but
It's Saturday. What do we do?
you're helping me not adult, which is great.
Ah, fantastic. It's Saturday. Screw it. Don't do any of that stuff.
True.
I saved
And
that
by
for
the way,
Sunday.
you didn't miss very much of the auction.
Which auction?
The Portland one.
Oh, I didn't miss much.
No,
I heard
8-hour
there-
drive, and I came home with like 3 plants.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I just heard a recap from Bentley that he was like, he had gone, and I was like, I didn't even know there was one, and I never get invited to anything, so, you know, which is pretty typical to my life. I'm not shocked by it because people are like, oh, I didn't want to bother you, and I'm like, I know that I look like if Jafar and if Jafar and Robert De Niro had like a love child, I know that I look like that, but it's fine. Like I'm not. It's just I have resting bitch face. It's not, you know. So I do like to get invited to things. I don't like getting last minute invited to things. That always kind of bothers me. But that's because I have a kid, you know. I could have got in the past. I could have gotten the last minute invite and been like, yeah, I'm going, you know. But nowadays it's like, my daughter doesn't know how to forage for food on her own. She hasn't converted to 100% feral yet, so I can't leave her here. She'll probably die.
Yeah, kids take a while to do that.
Yeah. I mean, when she's a teenager, I'm sure, you know, it'll be a different story. I really hope that by the time she's a teenager, we're doing a lot more traveling and filming and stuff. I did get her her own little tiny child camera. It's a digital camera. They sell these now. Hold on, I'm going to find the link, and then people are going to buy tons of stuff through Amazon, right? Because we are an affiliate. I'll find the link. It was actually super affordable. What's that?
Is it the kind that looks like a old Polaroid camera?
Let me. I'll find the link here. I mean, I guess yeah. It kind of looks like a Polaroid. It looks like a little plastic camera, but they're a digital camera. Now they don't. It's not like amazing photography, but I don't know who would expect amazing photography for $30, right? But I can verify that it works. And it really does solve the conundrum of like, how do I get my kid to learn photography without giving her a $4,000 camera lens combination to carry around like I do, right?
Yeah, probably not the best call.
And I was saying that like consider it has a coupon for this like 20% off too, so it's probably like $24 plus tax. So it seems pretty cool to me, and it actually does work. It takes pictures. They're not like insanely high def, like, you know, professional photography or anything, but you wouldn't expect that for this price. But I think it's really solving the conundrum of like, I want my daughter to learn how to take pictures and stuff, and not really put in danger stuff that's like sort of impossible to keep safe in a child's hand, right? Like even this old camera, which by the way is getting donated to, this one is getting donated to a young local teenager in need. That one's getting donated, but that thing is still like $500, right? You know, and if Olivia's carrying it around and it gets broken, then you're like, man, that's a lot of money. But this little camera does work, and it's really easy for her to use, and she's been cruising around taking pictures with it, so it's pretty cool. It's almost like a disposable camera, but it's not. Don't throw it away.
Speaking of kids, how's your new one doing, Skoggs?
Ooh, yeah, she's doing all right. Doing all right. Been a little bit fussy the last couple of days, but you know, no big deal. Yeah, that's about it. We actually went on a little adventure this morning. We have like a little indoor flea market. It's open, I don't know, 5 days a week or something like that. So we took her down there this morning and walked around for, I don't know, an hour and a half or so, and she was fine. It was good. It was nice.
Getting the baby out of the house.
Oh yeah.
What an adventure! Is this the first little adventure to get out of the house?
No. No, I think it's like the second or third.
Right. You start to realize, like, you know, when I was a kid, I never really realized like why my parents would sigh a lot. And now I fully understand why my parents sigh a lot. You know, it was like one of those things with the kid in the car seat, and then like the people at the hospital can't tell you how to install the car seat, but you have to have a car seat installed in your car for you to leave. They can't tell you how to install it. You're supposed to go to the fire department, of all places. The fire department does free tutorials on installing your car seat properly. Like, okay. But then you realize, like, okay, every time I got to go somewhere, I got to get this baby bag that's got to have wipes and ointments, powders, snacks, breast milk, a way to warm up the milk, like all this crazy stuff. And then diapers and all that craziness. And then the car seat's a freaking disaster. And now here we are. Olivia's 4.5. She's going on 5 now. She's literally like 4.5 today or whatever. But we still now it's like we're playing musical chairs with car seats all the time. You know, oh, grandma and grandpa they're gonna take Olivia somewhere. Oh, cool, we gotta take the car seat out of the truck. Yeah, we'll take the car seat out of the truck. We'll put that in grandma's car. But now dad don't have a car seat. So don't ask me to pick up Olivia because I don't have a seat that she can sit in my car, in my truck. So it's either got to be mom or grandma. But then right now we're helping out some local veterans, right? That need help with childcare. Their daughter is friends with our daughter, so we're like picking her up from school, and then she comes and stays here for like 4 or 5 hours, and then like her dad or mom's able to pick her up because they have the crazy schedule right now. But then now both car seats are in Vicky's car, so now I don't have a car seat. Nobody else has a car seat, but there's 2 in Vicky's car, so we got to take one out. And then like that kid's dad was here the other day because he was gonna repay all of the daycare by taking the girls to the museum and whatnot. So then it's like, we got to take a car seat out of Vicky's car and then put it into his car so that now he has 2 car seats. But he has like a brand new car. He didn't know how to get the car seat into the brand new car, so I'm helping him. Both the girls are going crazy, running around because we're out in the driveway, which, whatever. And you're just like, this car seat fiasco is just too much. It's too much. And that's why you sigh all the time. That's why you constantly sigh, because it's like, well, I just needed to run into the store here and grab something. Now I got to get Olivia out of the car seat, bring her in with me to like the tractor store. I was at the tractor store the other day, and I caught myself doing the big sigh. I got to get Olivia out of the truck, out of the car seat. Then we go in the store. Going in the store was fine. But then when we're going to leave, it's like, all right, let's go. And then we go, and there's like, got to pick her up, put her in the car seat, get the belts on her, strap her in, tighten it up. Oh, it's too tight because Dad puts it on too tight. But I'll tell you this much. I put it on the correct amount. I tightened it up. I put my fingers behind it, just like the fireman showed me. Just like the fireman showed me. But now she's complaining that it's too tight. And now we got to have an argument about the fact that it's not too tight. That's what the fireman says. She don't care what the fireman says. She says she can't breathe. She's going to die. And it's like, oh, you going to die? You super dramatic? Well, we'll see if you die then. And then now all of a sudden I'm the mean dad because I was like, well, let's see if you die. And I'm like, well, I could see how people grow up having problems because he's trying to navigate this stupid nonsense because we had to go to the tractor store because the shovel broke. That's why, and you're like, welcome to Sunday,
Boy, what a process, huh?
Yeah, and you're just like, what the fuck? What do we do here? What do we do? I was just going to say, what the fuck? And then I realized, like, oh, I'm not supposed to say what the fuck, but I get demonetized. Every video, every live stream I've done has been demonetized, whether I swear or not. So I'm just doing it because we'll just move on. Preston John is here. I hope to see Preston in the next couple days because I'm going to be in his home state. But I was looking at our schedule, and I don't know how it's going to work out. So I'll text him after the show, though. Dad puts it on too tight. Yeah. Yeah, I say Mom must be putting it on too loose also, Jerry. I agree 100%. If Dad puts it on too tight, clearly Mom is like, was she going loosey-goosey with the seatbelt? I don't know. Caitlin, do you have kids? You have like 2 kids, right? Or no kids? You either have 2 or none.
I have none.
You have none. Okay, I thought you had 2 for some reason.
A bunch of students. They go home, though, so.
That's the best birth control, right?
Yeah, for now. We do. The kindergartners, luckily, I don't have to go on this field trip, but the kindergartners are all going on a field trip to the Children's Museum, and that doesn't sound like a fun time.
Which one?
Which, like, all of our kindergartners at our school are going to some children's museum, and I don't know which one it is.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say the one in Everett is dope, dude. It is awesome. If you're in, like, northern Seattle area, go to the Children's Museum in Everett. It is awesome. It's like 3 stories. The thing is huge.
They might be going there. We're in Mill Creek, so it's probably the closest one.
Yeah, it could be.
But
I'd recommend it. It's like, I have to admit, I rarely am I, like, impressed, I guess. But I have to admit, I was, like, really impressed by the Children's Museum, which is funny because I was talking to some parents, and they were like, yeah, it wasn't this nice before COVID because they had to close down for COVID. And then the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Boeing and somebody else donated a buttload of money to expand it because they're like, well, if it can't be open, we might as well get it ready for when it can open. The one big complaint I have is that there is this big one of the things that the kids do there. There's this big area where they have these like manual conveyor belts that go up, and it's all like industrial looking, and it's literally a Amazon warehouse. There's a forklift. There's these conveyor belts. There's colored boxes that the kids are having to coordinate which conveyor belt they're going up and down. And I literally saw like an 8-year-old kid. There was like an 8-year-old kid who was like screaming at other kids. Not like a terrified scream, but like just emphatically loud and sort of oppressing the other kids to the point that that it interested me. So I walked over to kind of like stay off to the side and see why this kid was like yelling at the other kids. He was literally emphatically explaining to the other kids that the customers are dissatisfied with their service and they need to work faster in order to get the boxes where they need to go. Now, there is nothing in these boxes. They are all empty boxes with color-coded delivery, right? Now, the reason I'm upset by this is, like, they're literally, like, trying to train little factory workers at the Children's Museum situation. Like, there is plenty of time for this BS later in life. There's going to be at least 60 years of this horseshittery that these kids are going to grow up to be dealing with for the entirety of their lives. We do not need to be exposing them to, obviously, this kid who's going to grow up to be some psychotic middle management guy at Amazon or whatever the next Amazon incarnation is. There's plenty of years for that. And right now, this is supposed to be like a fun educational time. And somehow this kid was born with a clipboard in his hand and is like screaming about customer satisfaction to what can only be described as kids that don't even know how to read yet, right? I felt like I had entered the Twilight Zone. I felt like I had entered the Twilight Zone, honestly. But the other 97% of the place is awesome. And there's this really cool thing there that I feel like I want to build one of these myself because it's like an aquascaping box. It's this big kinetic sandbox, kinetic sand. Envision that in your mind. There's a projector from up above that is operating. It's projecting down onto the white kinetic sand. Then as the kids build up or remove sand, it's either creating like a mountain or grasslands or water. If you build up like super tall, it becomes a volcano, and then lava starts, projected lava starts coming out of it. That thing, I feel like I want one of those at my house. And I was talking with one of my buddies that we go to the museum together, and he was like, oh my God, the kinetic sand thing. I'm like, dude, the kinetic sand thing, it's the best. I'm like, I almost want to build one at my house. And he was like, I bet we could build one. And I was like, hold on a second here. We need to pump the brakes, Chief. As soon as we start thinking we can build one of these, we are going to end up starting to build one. There is one here. We'll just visit it, okay? We don't need one of these at our houses. But I almost want one for aquascaping videos or something. There's probably got to be a way to get that thing to program whatever it's projecting in that way. I think it could. It would be, I guess it would be like a cool YouTube video that people would watch and then they would never apply it in their lives though, so it feels like a big waste of time.
My
Caitlin,
question is, what conversations is that kid hearing?
I don't know.
Like that.
I almost guarantee. That kid's dad like has to work at Boeing or Amazon or something. Like that's got to be it's got to be the conversations that he hears at home on a regular basis, because there's no way like an 8-year-old is coming up with that on their own, you know.
Or
Which is
very
like, you remember the commercial from the 80s where the kid's like smoking weed in his bedroom and the dad comes in and he's yelling at him and he's like, "Where did you learn this?" And he's like, "I learned it from watching you, Dad."
Yeah, it's funny to hear some of the things that the kids say, and you're like, "Yep, definitely heard that at home."
That was 100% like parent mirroring, you know, which which I think ultimately it should really like elucidate to people that like your kids are going to mirror your behavior when they grow up, right? And it's one of those things that like I saw a TikTok the other day that like some little kid or some teenager or something was like, "My dad told me to clean up my room, and I said, well, don't come in here." And then it like the screen goes black, and then it's the kid waking up to the dad standing over the kid with an ice pack saying like, "That's right, you know, that's what you get in my house," and blah 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 blah, right? But it was supposed to be like, this is a positive message to like hitting your kids, like you should just give your kids a whooping, right? And I was like, you do realize that this kid is going to grow up and this is going to be their engagement with the world. Like that's how they're going to engage with the world, as their knee-jerk immediate reaction to people is, "Oh, I should respond with violence. Like that's how I should respond right now," you know. And then I'm like, well, yeah, that's where these people came from. Like that's where, of course that's where these people came from. Like their parents taught them to do that, which is why I don't hit my kid. Which seems like a pretty simple thing to explain to people, but also at the same time, I'll get this insane amount of backlash whenever I bring this up on the internet that people will do backflips. They'll do these like psychological backflips where they try to somehow prove to me that it was okay that they hit their kid, right? And it's like, but where in the world, at what point in the world is it okay to have an engagement where you're just punching your way out, right? Maybe somebody tries to attack you. Sure. Like, be prepared for that and fight for your life. Do it. The bank teller is being irritating? No. The grocery store is irritating? No. Coworkers? No. Where else is that applied? You know? Okay. Very extreme examples of you being attacked. Okay. Great. You could learn that. That's a learned skill that you could learn. Go take some courses. Be physically fit to whatever degree you can. That doesn't mean you got to have rock hard, tasty abs and whatever the beauty standard is now in the world. I don't know what it is. It's big butts or something. I don't know. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Just be physically, capable of handling yourself, and you'll generally be fine. But if you're training your children that like violence is the out at all points in time, and then you're going to punish them for doing that, by the way, which is the funny thing. Kids will go to school, then they punch other kids, then those kids get in trouble, right? Then your kid gets in trouble. Then your kid gets in trouble again from you when they come home. And all this is just an affirmation of like punishment onto children, right? Like, and then you go like, well, I don't understand what this generation, they walk around with their cell phone and punch random strangers on the street so they could get 2 million views on YouTube or TikTok. And you're like, yeah, but where do you think they learned that? Where do you think they're getting that from? So I don't know. But yeah, to the point where like I have family members that are still to this day super mad at me because they wanted to like somehow justify that it was okay to spank their kids because they like I don't know, drew on the walls or something with a marker or whatever. Like, oh, what was the thing I was going to look up? I forgot. I was going to look something up. Oh, that's what I was going to look up. I learned it from... I wanted to find this commercial.
Yeah, you can definitely tell when you go into the younger grades. Well, not always, but seeing some of the behaviors of the kids, you can kind of make a guess of their home situation.
Well, yeah,
Obviously, not always, but
not always. You're not gonna get like 100% result from that, but I mean, it's like that's why there are adults in the room. That it's one thing to be like, hey, you're not supposed to hit your kids, and we should enforce that, right? Like to some degree, right? Your kids are powerless against you. Like a 5-year-old cannot defend themselves from a 40-year-old grown man who works with his hands every day. It's not going to happen, right? That it's not even is that physically impossible. It's statistically impossible. There's no way you could statistically be like, there's this one 5-year-old that was able to defend themselves, like whatever, it's just never going to happen that a 5-year-old is able to defend themselves, and all it ends up is just affirming to them that like this is how you engage with the world, this is how you solve problems, this is how your parents are to you, that like your parents are hitting you, right? Now that doesn't mean that if you are somebody who spanked your kids that they're going to turn out 100% rotten or whatever however you want to put it or anything like that. I was physically assaulted many times when I was a child, and I turned out okay, but also I spent 20 years of my life heavily abusing drugs and alcohol, right? Heavily abusing drugs and alcohol. So does it work out sometimes? Sure. But like, why would you hope to be the lottery winner that it doesn't end up dead at 43 or dead at 38 or dead at 32 or dead at whatever age that is just not even meeting the normal? Dudes are supposed to live to be 77 in the U.S., and when they don't meet that mark, there probably was something engaging, some aberrant behavior was engaging with the shortening their lifespan, right? I talked about my buddy Robert a little while ago. It's sort of, it's like pulling teeth around people. Are like, why these people die, right? And I know for a fact that Rob had a big drinking problem. That's one of the reasons he and I were good friends. We hang out and get drunk all night, like after work, right? And there was an accident that he died, and it was escalated by outside substances, right? My buddy Dave recently died, which he had developed liver disease from drinking, and died at the age of 52 because of drinking, right? He had ended up with liver disease, and the doctors were like, there's nothing we can do for you, which is, imagine living with that for however many months. And I didn't know that was what was going on. I got some phone calls from him and talked with him a bit, and I didn't realize that like he had gotten the "you're gonna die" situation. He had told me he had some big health problems. He had moved back to the East Coast to stay with some family there that could take care of him, and it basically was like family members that would allow him to just continue, kind of drinking himself to death, right? But my buddy Jerry just died at 53, right? The list is way too long to sit here and go through all of them. But one of the things that exists between all of those people is sort of consistently through all of those people that I've known over the years, there's almost always been a commonality of, yeah, my dad used to hit me when I was a kid. Yeah, my parents would spank me when I was a kid. Yeah, my parents would do this. Now, is it the only reason? No. But is it a contributing factor? I believe that it is. So I don't even remotely see value there at all. And, admittedly, it really is like a sad situation. I was talking to my friend the other day, and I was just tired. I literally was just like, man, I'm just tired, because they were like, man, what's going on? You seem really sad. And I was like, dude, I'm just straight tired. And they were like, I thought it was, he was like, the first thing they asked was like, oh, is it your buddy? Are you sad? And I was like, no, I'm just super tired. I am sad about that, but it's not that. I was just literally tired. And it was because so many people have died recently that he was just like, yeah, it's got to be that, right? And it was like, no, I just didn't sleep well, so like I'm just tired, but I'll be fine after I get some coffee, you know. So yeah, whereas I see myself as a success and a happy person and a lucky person to be where I'm at, and I'm very grateful and humble to be where I'm at. This is not, this right here, this person right here is not the blueprint to follow. And I can say that because a lot of people I've been associated with for many years are dropping like flies. Okay. You know, I'm sure there's probably somebody out there that would be like, I will argue differently, but like, I would just be like, yeah, all right, cool. Here's all the obituaries. Go read them. That was a huge side tangent. Sorry about that. What are you guys up to today? Skogs, what are you doing?
Currently I'm playing with one of these little adjustable clamps.
Are you just fidgeting?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
I do it all the time. We had the solar people come out today.
Really?
Earlier. Yeah.
Are you gonna get some panels and?
It's a possibility. I kind of want to read some of the fine print.
Right.
Shannon brought up a lot of really good points, and we're gonna ask the guy and either get a straight answer, or I'm gonna sit down and read the fine print. And I think I'm probably gonna unfortunately have to read some of the fine print.
Yeah.
But with the quick bit of math and everything, they said all of our usage should be covered.
Right.
Which would be nice. So, you know, you only pay the little quote unquote lease fee. Which would be good because it kind of cut the bill in half that we're paying now. Mm-hmm. So it's not bad. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you guys have the electricity by is the whatever your municipality is? Are they buying the excess energy from you, or is it just net metering? Like you end up with a bill that's close to zero.
Let's see. So I think it's kind of weird, honestly, because I don't really know how to explain it. They come and put like a second meter on the house that tells the regular one to like spin backwards, right? Mm-hmm. And then like we don't actually get money from them. I think the company owns the panels. We lease the panels from them, right? And then the company sells the energy to the company, like the main company there.
Yeah.
And then we just pay to have the panels. I don't know. It kind of seems ridiculous, but you know, again, it kind of cuts the bill in half. I don't know if that would be net metering because it would cover everything.
Right.
All of our usage.
So the easy way to explain this, and I can hopefully do this in an easy way. So where I live right now is 11 cents a kilowatt hour, right? So every kilowatt I utilize is 11 cents. The national is 17, so it's cheaper. Electricity is cheaper in Washington than it is in pretty much everywhere.
Ours is 33.
Yeah. So where I'm at, when we were in Tacoma, there was a temporary buyback. The way to explain it is just they buy whatever excess energy you create, right? So let's say we use 100 kilowatts a day. and we produce 180, right? So whatever we used is offset by what we produced. But there's also this 80 kilowatts that were produced and sent back into the grid, in which the utility is going to get paid for, right? Somebody's going to utilize that energy. Their meter is going to charge them for it, and the public utility is going to get paid. Now, there are some net metering programs where you don't get paid for that excess that you produce. It typically is called net metering, in the fact that the meter will go backwards, but then it'll zero out, as opposed to giving you that surplus. We didn't do solar in Tacoma because the program that they would buy the excess energy at 7 cents a kilowatt, you weren't selling it the same that they were selling it for, as the person that's producing it, right? That program was only going to last up until 2022, and then they would have to negotiate a new one, right? So we were like, oh, we're only going to be able to hopefully use that program for like a year and a half or something. And then after that, there was no guarantee. So the first place I would say anybody that wants to get solar is start there, is find out what your public utility is going to pay you for the extra energy that you create during the day, and then how long is that contract going to exist? Because that contract right now might be, like you said, yours was 30 cents or something. Like, let's say right now you would get paid 25 cents or something from the utility for making the energy, and then they're charging 30 to the customers, right? But that contract might expire in like 2 years or something, and just put you out like, wait a minute, I'm not getting paid for the excess. All I'm doing is ending up with a zero bill, but I'm paying $200 a month to, either pay for the panels or the installation or whatever. And then you're like, wait a minute, I'm just going to be paying these lease fees forever, right? So that's where I would start. And if they don't have that yet, then I wouldn't do anything personally. Because if you look at it this way, your solar production is going to happen during the daylight, right? It's not going to happen at night because there's no sun, right? So during the daylight hours, there are going to be variances between what you produce and what you don't produce. Well, on really sunny, hot days where everybody's running their AC down the street and all that kind of stuff, it's really sunny. It's going to be sunny from 5 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. You're going to have these really long days. Well, if you're only getting your meter going back to zero on those days, well, come around to the winter time, there's not going to be a lot of sun, right? You're going to be producing less. You're also going to be heating your home. So if you aren't able to bank those summer months of like hyper productivity from your solar, and you're not able to bank having made this profit during this time of year to offset the winter time when you're not going to be able to produce enough, it doesn't look financially viable to me. So if you do have that, if you do have that program in place that you're going to be able to bank some of that money during the summer, it is worthwhile. But to me, if you don't have it, then what I would generally advise, like if you don't have that program out there, I would generally advise people from the DIY standpoint of going, why don't you get into solar? Why don't you get a panel or two? Why don't you get a controller and an inverter, and convert like one of your appliances that you use, and go through that and start to learn about it, and something that you would be really knowledgeable, that when it does come time that like maybe you do want to lease a really big system so that your house is sort of offset, you know what's going on. And you're not going to get screwed by some weird finance company. You're not going to get screwed by a solar company that either doesn't give you enough or gives you way too much. That's kind of where I would tell generally people to go. I've got a buddy that is an incredibly smart engineer. Like, he's an electrical engineer. He does this stuff all the time. This is what he does all the time. He's probably going to be on the YouTube channel at some point once we start to make the really automations within the fish room here. We were going to do stuff down south. We decided not to because we didn't want to release sort of prototypical or prototype stuff without like having tested, and then we just kind of put it on the back burner until I get done with the fish room here. But that's sort of the advice I would give people if you want to go solar. Kind of steer yourself in that direction, and then see where you end up once you're like really kind of familiar with like what's going on. Because those sales guys will come and they'll give you a really good pitch, and you're like, oh, word, let's do it. Because it is real easy to just be like, I'll sign this thing. You guys are here next week. It's like, word, all right, let's do this. So that's kind of the advice that I would give people. There goes the ice machine.
All right, well that is helpful. Yeah, I mean we still got time. They only came out today and like looked at the roof to make sure that was going to be good, and looked at our electrical panel and told me it needed to be upgraded.
Right.
But there's still time to cancel. We haven't signed anything yet, so
yeah. That's where I would look. And that's just my blanket advice to everybody. So that's what I would be looking into and making sure that that's there.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was wondering.
I don't know, because like it'd be nice to not be paying what I'm paying every month, but yeah, we just got to ask him the few more questions and figure it out.
Yeah, you guys don't have that. You guys don't have the you guys don't have the West Coast. You guys don't have that West Coast electricity,
No, we have
you guys don't have
Canada.
that West Coast. You guys don't have that West Coast electricity brought to you by the federal government. What's up now?
No, we have Canadian electricity that comes to us, and Texas electricity that comes to us, and a lot of Midwest energy that comes to us, and yeah, because good old Eversource. Is that Eversource? No, it's National Grid. It's National Grid. I hate National Grid.
National Grid. I don't know those guys.
Yeah. Well, when we moved into this house in October, I think our electricity was 18 cents a kilowatt hour, and in November it went up to 33 cents.
Yeah.
Yep.
33 cents. That's buck wild, dude. I pay 11.
Yep.
I pay 11. I pay 11.
Well, now the state came up with this program where they're like trying to get more people into having the solar so that they don't have to buy electricity from Canada and Texas and all these faraway places, so we could stop paying $225 in delivery fees for using $180 of electricity.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Columbia Basin Project is what I was talking about, if anybody wants to look that up. I love the Columbia Basin Project. It's a perfect example of our tax dollars at work, and people just ignore the hell out of it.
We have our family reunion right there every year.
Which one?
So we stay right by Grand Coulee.
Oh, Grand Coulee Dam. It's a lovely spot.
Yeah, my grandma or great grandma had, they have a house. Well, my uncle has it now, but like right up the street from it. So every year when we went over there, we'd go to the dam for the light show and
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that light show. It's a good one.
Yeah, we could see it from the window sometimes if it was dark enough.
Oh, just like looking out the window.
Yeah, in the attic.
Nice.
Didn't get the cool sound effects though.
Yeah, it's more fun down on the grass too.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the peoples, you know?
After 20 plus years of it though being the same, it wasn't quite as fun.
Well, that's true. I think they changed it up. I think they have a new one now, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
I haven't been the last few years.
I love going to dams. I don't know about you guys, but I love going to dams. You get to see fish. You get to see public works. You get to see a crazy view. The view is insane every time. Almost every dam has a crazy view. There's like the electrical stuff, the electrical generating is insane. I love it. It's so cool. And I could just hang out at the fish ladder all day too, by the way. Because I'm a loser and I would like to watch fish go by. Because it's very interesting to see how many of them have been wounded on their way up the river. Steve, have you ever been to a big dam? Oh, he might have left. He's probably got child duties. That's right. I said duty. Duty. All right, guys, where are we at? It's 2:30. It's 2:30. What are we doing? Nobody. I think our chat's broken. Nobody's even in the chat. Everybody must be driving. Huh?
It's 2:30?
It's 2:30.
It's 2:30 for you.
It's 2:30 for me. Yeah, I live in a different time zone. I don't know if you know.
Oh, I thought the time zones were horizontal.
Like what time? So I'll be headed down to. So nobody was asking, but I'll tell you guys where I'm going. Olivia, Vicky, and myself are headed to the Grand Canyon.
Ooh.
We are going to be taking an extravagant train ride about the Grand Canyon. And it should be fun. So we're flying down to Phoenix. Then we're driving up to Sedona. And Preston's in the chat. We're going to try and see if we can't meet up with Preston. I'm trying to figure out the schedule, though. The schedule's tight. We're only there for a couple days, and then we're back to work. So I'm trying to figure out the schedule because he lives in the greater Phoenix area. And so it's not he doesn't live in Sedona. Does that make sense? We're going to Sedona and he doesn't live in Sedona. So trying to figure out when we might be able to swing by. Might be tomorrow, like after we land, because we fly out on a red eye tonight, and then we're in. Well, it's like the early morning red eye, if that makes sense. Not the late night red eye. The early morning red eye. Although one thing that I found was kind of interesting is that like in the United States you need your passport to go flying now.
Well, the passport or the real ID, right?
Right. I don't even know what
fancy little star.
I don't even know what the F the real ID thing is.
It's just an enhanced license, right?
Well, I don't think it is because the Washington State enhanced license didn't qualify.
Really?
So they're like, you need your passport to fly within the country, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That's like it's literally against our Constitution to like, what? Like you can't.
So we can go to Canada with our enhanced license, but we can't go somewhere else in the United States.
Yeah, let's see. About enhanced driver's license. Michigan, Vermont, Minnesota, and New York states issue real ID and state-issued enhanced driver's license, both of which are acceptable. Washington State issues enhanced driver's licenses only. State-issued enhanced driver's license are marked with a flag. These documents, the documents will be accepted at the airport security when Real ID enforcement goes into effect. Oh, okay. So I guess the Washington one now does qualify. It didn't qualify before, but I guess now it does.
Yeah, in Massachusetts, we just get like a little gold star.
Check for the star. Real ID compliant cards are marked with a star at the top of your card. If you're not sure, contact your state's driver's license, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I guess I got to go get a freaking Real ID. The new deadline for Real ID enforcement is May 7th, 2025. So maybe it's horse shit because it's not even enforced until May 7th, 2025. Beginning May 7th,
2022.
Right here, the Transportation Security Administration, the TSA, says beginning May 7th, 2025, every air traveler 18 years of age or older will need a Real ID compliant driver's license, state-issued enhanced driver's license, or another acceptable form of ID to fly within the United States. So it's not in effect, but people told me the other day that it is in effect. I don't know. I'm just bringing my damn passport. But I was like, what the hell, man? This is ridiculous. What can I bring? Here we go. For items not listed here, because I have like TSA pre-check and all that crap. So I don't know why. Why would you need an extra ID from me if you have my ID and my TSA pre-check? I don't know, man. These guys.
Check this box to verify you are human.
Yeah. 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 Are you a robot?
And they make those pictures so tiny that you can't tell if they have a bicycle in them or not.
Do I have to have a bicycle on my ID? What?
No, the "Are you a robot" thing, when they make you pick
Oh,
the
yeah.
boxes
Yeah.
and tell you to pick with all the ones with the bicycles,
Right.
and it's so tiny that you can't see the bicycles half the time. So then it makes you pick keep going.
Yeah, where's the crosswalk? That's the best one. You're like, well, there's like some white paint on the ground in this box. Is that the crosswalk? I think that's the crosswalk. And then you click on it and it's like, oh, you're a robot. Get out of here. And you're like, wait, I am not. I am a person trying to decipher this stupid captcha, however you say that. And then you find yourself like yelling at a robot. But eventually they're going to be self-aware and they'll be able to figure out like, they'll just be like, you are a human, but we don't want to let you in. That'll be the best part.
I feel like a robot would probably be better at it.
I feel like AI would be better at those captchas than humans, but apparently not. I don't know.
I heard once upon a time that us doing those is part of training AI to recognize things.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all just like training and collecting data from you, you know. So they could sell you eyeglasses or whatever, right?
And bicycles.
Yeah, the weird thing is with the writer's strike going on right now, I was reading from I don't want to like misquote where I was reading, but what is it? The it's the writers version of the Screen Actors Guild. Maybe it's the WSAG or something. I don't know. But they were releasing information about the sort of behind the scenes, what is going on within these production companies of within the next 3 years, sort of what they're putting their billions of dollars into. And the thing is that they're essentially trying to create a sort of a la carte movie experience, right? So actors and all these people are going in and getting their likenesses scanned, their voices are being recreated, and then, like, let's say, for instance, you wanted Top Gun 2 to come out for a really long time, and let's say that they didn't make Top Gun 2. Well, they could use the Tom Cruise likeness and the Val Kilmer likeness and everybody else from the movie, whatever. Tom Skerritt, I think, is in that movie. They could take all of those likenesses and you could essentially put into Universal or Paramount or whatever. The input is, I want to see a Top Gun movie part 2, right? Like I make me Top Gun part 2. And with all of the Google information, with all of the Facebook information, with all of the Instagram information, with all of the YouTube information, with all of the whatever, TikTok, Twitter, all this information that they've scraped off of your preferences for advertising to you, they'll take all of that, then they'll take what you wanted, and it will just make an a la carte movie that you just get to watch for yourself. And it's supposed to just like appeal to all of the things that you like. Like, let's say you're a super puritanical weirdo. There will be no like romance in it. There'll be no like sexy beach volleyball, right? There'll be no sexy beach volleyball, guys. Do you understand the future that we're staring down right now? There will be no sexy men's beach volleyball in jean cutoff shorts, right? They won't have that because they'll be like, well, you're puritanical and we don't want to send you to hell, so we won't have the shirtless beach volleyball sexy scene. We won't have that. Now, on the upside, they definitely wouldn't have Kelly McGillis as the romance interest. Kelly McGillis has always bothered me since I was a small child. I do not like Kelly McGillis. She freaks me out. So there's a slight upside, but then a big downside. So that's the thing that I'm kind of worried about, is that like that's where these companies are putting their millions and millions of dollars and investing in, essentially just removing all the writers, removing all the production, removing all the electricians that work on set, all that stuff, getting rid of all that stuff. And then you'll just get your own a la carte movie that it just makes for you from the information that they've gathered for advertising for the last 20 years.
Now, I don't really agree that, that they should move forward with this, because that is going to destroy a lot of jobs. But on the flip side, it would be kind of cool to see like 90 different versions of Top Gun 2 tailored to each individual person.
Right. Oh, actually, here's the problem, Steve, is that it may get rid of jobs. It may. But ignoring it is way worse than not investing in it.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, do you think suddenly like Iran is just going to not invest in that? Like, of course they are. So it's one of those things that you go like, well, we need to invest in it because we got to be at the forefront. We got to be at the front. We got to be at the forefront of this technology, just like all the other technologies, like vaccines, medical treatments, whatever, airplane technology, solar technology, like all this stuff. We got to be at the forefront of that. And this is just one of those things that it ain't going away. It sure as hell ain't going away, so we might as well be at the front, as opposed to, we're just going to ignore this problem like a lot of other problems we've ignored as a society. I don't think it's a good idea to just ignore it. It's much better to be at the front of the pack, leading, as opposed to trying to catch up. It's just, that's the only way that I see it.
Isn't half the fun of movies, though, that you can like talk with your friends or whoever else has watched the movie and debate the good parts and all that kind of stuff?
That's almost like when it comes to culture, as far as I'm concerned, it's like 40%. I don't know, maybe it's 50%, but whatever the percentage is the actual thing that you were able to experience. And then the culture part of it, like how did everyone else experience it? How did you take that? Oh, I don't know. Why did Glenn died, right? Like, oh, Glenn died on the Walking Dead. oh my God, I hate it so much. And well, but the story's got to go forward. Oh yeah, well maybe it does have to go forward. And he's not actually a person I've ever met, and it's sad that he died. But the story's got to go forward. I think it might be, like you said. I think it's almost maybe more profound to from the societal standpoint, right? Of like interacting with other people about it, like fandoms and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's all like way more important as far as I'm concerned. I watched Top Gun probably way too many times when I was a kid, but there's like profound moments in my life of like just making fun of Top Gun with my friends is like so much more impactful in my development and experience in the world than simply having watched a movie a bunch of times, right? In fact, probably one of the reasons I brought up Top Gun is that I was working with somebody yesterday, and we were laughing about the being inverted thing from Top Gun. And my friend John, about 1,000,000 years ago, I want to say it's probably almost 20 years ago, he won a contest to meet Tom Cruise and go to an event with Tom Cruise. And at the time, he was like, all I want from this whole experience is to get a picture of him doing the inverted thing. And when he had met Tom Cruise, all the other story parts aside, he was nice or whatever, whatever. There's no complaints or anything. But the funny part is that John was like, can you do the inverted thing for me? And Tom Cruise was like, the inverted thing? What do you mean? And he's like, from Top Gun, we were inverted. And he was apparently, Tom Cruise was a really good, I don't know how to put it. He was like a really good sport about it because he kept playing off like, I don't know what you're talking about. What? Inverted? I don't even know. What? Apparently kept playing it off. And then he was like, well, if we're going to go inverted, we better take a picture. And so he actually got some people out to take a picture. So he has a picture of him and Tom Cruise doing the inverted thing with their hands. And it's just like, that's probably why I was thinking about Top Gun, because I was telling that story to somebody the other day that I was working with. And like, if in the future we are all like, it's all AI generated or something like that whole thing just never exists, right?
But that's the thing is, you could share around and pass around all these different versions and decide on, which one's the best. Let the community decide. I still don't agree with it killing jobs, though.
What's that?
Oh, you could take all these different versions and pass them around, and everybody can watch them, and then you can,
no,
decide.
I was saying the killing of who?
Oh, the jobs.
Oh, killing of the jobs. Yeah, I mean, we've always been, humans have always been really paranoid about new technology removing jobs. And I, admittedly myself, I have some of that worry myself, 100%, in some part of my... In some deep parts of my being, that like people need to have jobs. Now, if you want to get into the deep dark recesses of my soul, right, down into the parts we don't ever talk about, right, I spent a lot of time as a young man reading a lot of like philosophy and ideas of the future world and like what the future world is going to look like, sort of inspired by having read Ender's Game when I was like 12 or something. And I really wanted to sort of like, I always had this idea that I was going to understand like what the future was going to look like. And I was never right, by the way, just to be clear. I was never really that accurate. But I wanted to have an understanding of like what the future was going to look like. And you kind of stumble along and find people that were writing in the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s Now, one of the things that was sort of consistent along a lot of those authors, a lot of those philosophers and whatnot were saying, they always said, we're going to have less of a work week. Automation is going to lead to people not having to spend all of their time toiling in the dirt. That mechanizing things, computerizing things, having the robots do the jobs, and that kind of stuff is hopefully going to lead us to a more prosperous world where we have more time to work on the things that we want to work on. I personally love being busy all of the time and having things to do and stuff to do. That doesn't mean that I want to spend all of my time potentially putting the sprockets onto the assembly line when I could be doing all of the crazy creative projects that I want to work on. Now, I don't know what the world will look like. I don't know. Excuse me. Nor do I claim to know what the world is going to look like. But my interpretation is that at some point in time, one of two things will have to happen. That the automation would have to go and pay forward to the population so that we do look at a world where, oh, maybe you have a 3-day work week. Maybe you have a 2-day work week. And the rest of the days, the automation, the machines and stuff like that are handling that basic contribution to the sort of community production. Or we're going to continue to allow corporations to extract all of that money and then put it in their bank accounts, which, by the way, is what is currently happening, right? It's not an alarmist thing. It's not a socialist thing. It's not a communist thing. It's not any of that stuff. It's ostensibly true fact that we have an insane disparity of wealth between the top 3,000 people and the other 7.9 billion people, right? The likes that have only ever been seen in the United States, for instance, which led us to the Great Depression. The big one, right? And so, personally, I would say we're likely to see that world where the productivity of these machines, these algorithms, the computer programs, all of this stuff, all of this advancement in technology is likely to lead us to an even higher extraction of wealth from the worker class. And I don't hope that for society. That sounds very dystopian to me. That sounds like a world there where none of us are happy, right? Well, not none of us, but just a very, very minuscule part of our population is happy. And my hope is that with seeing things like the writers' strike, like unionization happening in places like Starbucks and whatnot, that we could see a surge in unionization and community collective bargaining, right? To not allow a very tiny portion of our population to extract everything that we've worked for. And I think it's like fundamentally important that we, as a society, are working towards that. People get mad at me because I talk about politics. If you don't talk about politics, politics is going to talk about you, right? Politics is important because it is the structure that we live under in our society. If you don't want to engage with it, if you choose to disengage with it, you have that choice. But you're not going to be somebody who's putting in, having input towards where these decisions get made. So to lash out and be angry because somebody talked about politics, well, that seems super counterproductive when a really basic amount of input on your part could contribute to a better future. You know, people get mad at me because I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump, the person, because he's a dirtbag. I don't like Donald Trump, the politician, because his policies are either ineffective, not followed through on, or absurdly bad for the average person, which I am. So I don't want somebody who's putting policies into place which are bad for me. And when I say bad for me, I mean negative for my economic advancement, for my family's advancement, and for my societal advancement. And that means that, like, the engagement with society, when it becomes a negative interaction because somebody has joined up into a cult where they're screaming and yelling and driving like a maniac on the freeway, and they've got all sorts of Trump regalia flags all over their truck or car or whatever, and you go like, well, that's the person that's acting crazy, and they're representing those people, right? Or they're representing that group of people. Like, okay, well, I don't want to be a part of that group where people are acting all crazy and taking away rights from people and taking away and, basically removing money from my friends and my neighbors and my family and my people and funneling it to some douchebag who wants to move to Mars, right? I don't like all that. That's why. And what is that old quote? Does somebody know that quote? If you don't do politics. That's what it is. If you don't do politics, politics will do you. And I forget who was that. I forget who quoted that. Who's that it's a quote of. And I can't find it online. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I can't find the quote. Yeah. But, I've definitely seen a lot of negative feedback, especially from being an online content creator, from somebody who I feel like, I'm happy to speak my mind and I'm happy to talk about the things that I care about and whatnot. I've definitely seen a lot of sort of, not necessarily like negative feedback, but it certainly has to do with, well, we're not really going to promote this content and whatnot. Which is why I've always kind of appealed to the small amount of people who support this channel, and I really appreciate the people that do that. So that in hopes that we could work on bigger and bigger projects, and at some point in time, we will. We'll get to that point, or the machines will just take over and give Bezos all the money. Aubrey says it's always the people that don't want to talk politics that will reduce you to I bet you voted for blank whenever you disagree with them. One of the funny things with that is like, yeah, I voted though. Like, did you vote? I may or may not have voted for somebody you didn't like, but did you even vote? Right? That's always kind of the question that I have. Because statistically speaking, if you're talking to an American, they probably didn't vote. And while they may have voted in the presidential election, they probably didn't vote in their local election. Let's find let's go to fairvote.com because this place .org. This place is fairly reputable, not 100%, but
the local elections are kind of tough sometimes, though.
Yeah, people just don't. They just don't. They just don't do it at all. That's the problem.
Right. And like I've missed pretty much all of them except for I think one. And the only reason I made it to that one was because I saw them putting the signs out like the night before or something, vote here. Like I don't even know where to go to vote for my local elections because I know it's not the same spot as the presidential. At least in my town anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Just because nobody shows up, you know, they do it in a lot smaller of a building.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like they don't.
Yeah, I mean that's
advertise
the
it as
crazy
well.
thing. So like in Washington State, we do all of our voting by mail, right? I don't need to show up to some weird place, right? I don't need to show up to some weird place to vote. Registering is quite easy where I live. Although it's not perfect, in my opinion, Oregon and California have it figured out. None of the other states do. Washington is fairly easy. Oregon and California are the only two states that have automatic registration. If you're eligible voter, they automatically register you. And that is fairly new, though. That's very, very new. I think that was in 2022 when that went through. So it's kind of one of those things that, like, I don't know why you have to manually register unless it's for a nefarious reason, right?
Well, boomers. That's why.
Yeah, you know, it's like that's kind of the issue is that, like, you don't have automatic registration because then it lowers voter turnout. You don't have vote by mail because it lowers voter turnout. You need a special ID because it lowers voter turnout. You make all these barriers. You put all these barriers in place in order to lower voter turnout. You know, like, that's the only reason that you want that to happen. That's the only reason you really advocate for that. And the reason I say that is like, well, that's not the reason that they gave. It's like, well, why don't you sit down and have a conversation with them for about a half an hour, and eventually you'll get to the point where you realize, like, oh, that is the actual reason. You need a lower turnout to get these weirdos back into office, right?
Right.
There's been many psychology studies done on how to win, and they had something that said whomever has their name the biggest, you see it the most, that's who you remember / vote for. Yeah, it's called name recognition. Name recognition is huge in the especially in the United States. I would argue that it's probably true in other OCED countries, but modern countries. It's probably as profound there also. It's one of the reasons that, like, George Bush was elected, because of his dad. He had a lot of name recognition. His dad was in the government for a long, long time, and he was president and vice president and the head of the CIA, amongst other things. So name recognition was huge, especially in that election. A lot of people voted for Bush just because they were like, well, that's that guy. Admittedly, my grandmother actually voted for him because she was like, oh, that's that guy. She didn't vote for him the second time, though. Fool me once, right? Shame on me, right? What was that Bush quote? Fool me once. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again. Solid. From a war criminal, you know. It's all good. Anyhow, we're a couple hours in. Special thanks to Steve and Caitlin for being our illustrious callers today and bringing the chit-chat along with you. Aubrey gifted 5 members today. Crazy. Jerry super chatted us British money. British money. Yeah. We got British money straight into the coffers. We're going to stick it right in there. I think it's sterling. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's sterling pounds. So sterling silver, right? I think it's silver. What else did we got? We had a beautiful Saturday. I will not be here on Monday, just so that everybody knows. That's what's up. And at the end of the show, I have to do the promo thing where I say, become a member. We appreciate it. Or this all goes in the toilet, right? Is that how that goes? Or become a patron. Or just like and subscribe. Because that's a thing, too. And it's free. Oh, Glenn Tookshire showed up. Holy crap, I turned on YouTube Saturday afternoon, and look what I found. How's everybody doing? We're doing good, but we're 2 hours in, Glenn. It's not you. It's we're at the end. So, Mark Balkwell was here also with the deuces. I don't know if it was good or bad deuces, but either way. Good to see you, Mark. And that will be the end of the Saturday edition of whatever this show is called. We don't have a name for this show because we simply don't.